We're going to do the C major sevens, the arpeggios, starting first in the open position, and we'll go all the way up the neck. When you're looking at this chart, there's a lot of information on it. Whenever we do things, when we're trying to work out scales or arpeggios or chords, we always use the finger, fret, and string. On the musical staff, this will give you a finger number. If there is no number next to the note like this E, it's the open string. You see this 3 here is the third finger, and down below it you see the G, which will tell you it is the G of the chord, and it is the perfect fifth of the chord. Down here in the tablature it'll show that 3, telling you that this lower line at the bottom is the 6th string and that this 3 is the 3rd fret. So if I were to do this with you, I would start it out by going, the open 6th string is E, the major 3rd. And if you look at the diagram up here, it will show a 0 above this fingering, telling you that that is open. So these are the fingers of the left hand, just in a diagram form. Then over here, the next couple of groupings, this diagram shows you the letter names of the arpeggio, and this diagram shows you the corresponding interval numbers of that arpeggio. The second set of diagrams will show you the chord is a series of letter names, and then another diagram will show you the chord by its interval numbers. And there's a tip up here that says this 7 has a line through it. That's kind of common, that's a major 7th. In a jazz font, they might write the letter name C in a triangle. Another thing to notice too, that when you're playing these, you will see that right now the C is a red note, and that's to identify, and you see the C and the number 1 are very large down here. At the bottom of the page down here, I'm going to show you a few things that the chord name, and again here it's a C major 7 with a slash through it, and it could be just a triangle in jazz fonts, is basically the name of the chord. You're supposed to understand the rest of what I'm going to say, so I got to kind of go through this. There's a whole set of videos on the spellings, and I talk about how you skip every other letter name. It's B. So C, that's this guy here. Skip D is E, skip F is G, and skip A is B. That's the basic spelling. There could be sharps and flats added to that. What makes it a major 7th is this, the chord formula. In any chord, for it to be a major 7th, the first 2 notes, the tonic to the next note, has to be 2 whole steps or a major 3rd. In this case, C to E is just that, it's a major 3rd. The next section of notes, the C to the G, has to be 3.5 steps or a perfect 5th. And if you use any other letter name other than C, you might have to add sharps or flats. You will eventually. And then finally, to get to the major 7th, it has to be 5.5 steps above the root. In this case, C to B. So that we call the chord formula. The very simple form, the blatant simple form, is like up here called the arpeggio by interval numbers. That's this thing here, or the chord by interval number. And the simple form is just that what it shows, there's the root, that's 1. Then it shows a 3 without a flat in front of it, in this case E, and that makes it a major 3rd. A flat would make it a minor 3rd. The 5 has nothing in front of it, so it's going to be 3.5 steps, a perfect 5th, and the 7 has a slash, letting you know that it is 5.5 steps. It could have a flat in front of it, and in fact it could have 2 flats. The 5 could have a sharp or a flat in front of it, and the 3 will have a flat only. Okay, so that's just, the basic idea. When I go to do this, I've done this before, that we use the finger, fret, and string, and each row of note, that's these guys here, of the letter name interval number, and then the fret number and string number are below, and that's the tablature below. The finger, fret, and string, so this one would be the open 6th string is E, the major 3rd. But there's no finger on it yet. The next one shows you the 3rd finger next to the note head is the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and that's G, the perfect fifth. The next note would have a finger on it. So there is a 2, letting you know that it's the second finger, second fret of the fifth string, B, the major seventh. And then when we get to the C, we see that the C note, again, it's red to tell you where the root of the chord lies. As we make these dominant, minor, and half diminished, every note will eventually get a new color. The roots will always be red. Red is root. Okay, let's get to this.